We do begin this half hour in the ABC 7 Alert Center with that breaking news. 2 people are in the hospital this morning with serious injuries following a crash in West El Paso. It happened just after 1:30 a.m. at the intersection of Mesa and Castellano. A flash flood warning was once again sent out Sunday afternoon just after 2 p.m., warning residents to pay attention to their surroundings. The Upper Canyon area has also once again been ordered to evacuate. The village says flooding in the Rio Ruidoso has potential to impact Midtown. And the video you're seeing behind us are the terrifying moments from yesterday's flash flooding events that brought fast-moving water contaminated by all that ash from the nearby burn scars right through town as it moved along the Rio Ruidoso. Well, Stephanie, police have been out here for well over 11 hours now. Of course, this call first came in just after 6 a.m. Around 11 a.m. this morning, a police spokesman said that they would be wrapping up within about 2 hours at that time. Of course, it's progressed a lot longer than that. As you can see behind me, there's a still large crime scene unit van back there. Detectives have been coming in and out of the scene, as well as more crime scene units from the El Paso Police Department. Now, here's what we know. Police found a man that appeared to be in his 20s or 30s dead on the sidewalk with gunshot wounds. Well, that's right, Paul. We're here outside of that Savers store, and law enforcement and fire response activity has cleared up at this point. And I'm going to give you guys a look at how the store looks right now. They've covered that area where that Ford Explorer smashed through the front glass facade. It is now covered with particle board. Now, we were here earlier when that Ford Explorer was pulled out of the store. Well, that's right, Paul. Behind me here is where authorities say that 39-year-old woman was shot and killed last night, and this stretch of University Avenue was closed for up to 20 hours by Mesilla marshals as they search for more evidence.
Jason.
That's right. If you take a look behind me here, you can see there's a hole cut in the U.S.-Mexico border right there. That's where the migrants are coming in, and they're crossing this canal right here and coming right through this hole that's been cut in the secondary fence. Now, once they've come to that hole, they start walking down this access road, and you can just see the amount of traffic that comes through here. You've got a sweater that's been thrown over the fence right there. We've got various items of clothing. You know, we've got a cap, we've got some shoes and shirts. Now, once they've crossed here, that is when they make the dangerous decision to run across the 375 border highway. Well, that's right, Paul. We're here in East El Paso at El Paso Bowl, where the watch party for candidate Ryan Urrutia is underway right now. They're getting the preparations all set up, and we're going to hear from him in a bit. But first, in the meantime, we caught up with one of his opponents, current El Paso County Constable Oscar Ugarte, who tells us that he's still doing door knocks right now. He's going to be doing so until the polls close at 7 p.m., and he told us he has one message for El Pasoans voting today. This is the aftermath. The actual tanker is still up here on that flyover that goes from I-10 eastbound to I-25 northbound, and you can just see the devastation it caused. It's actually still smoldering, and you can see that it's caused this wall to crack. It's burned, it's charred. It still smells like gasoline up here, and of course, this flyover is still closed.
And I can already hear something going on in the background there, Jason. That, oh my goodness, that looks a little scary.
Hey. Well, Eric, I'm here with my friend Michael Myers, and we're here at the House of Horrors on the 1001 block of Espina Street. Now, he was going to help me out with this tour, but unfortunately, he doesn't have a lot to say. Now, I want to give you an aerial look of just how bad this damage is here at the Coates Bookstore in Solano. You can see that that roof is just completely torn up. There's pieces of it all over there. And you can see that AC unit that's been knocked over, which damaged a gas line. Now, Alba says monetary donations are the best way you can directly help the food pantry. But you can also organize food drives with non-perishables, such as canned goods and pasta. You can also donate your time by volunteering.
This is your catalytic converter. And experts say people who are skilled enough can get them out in 30 seconds, take them to the scrapyard and make anywhere from $300 to $1,500.
Neighbors helped me track down his trailer, and I knocked repeatedly 2 days in a row to see what he had to say. Nope, nobody's home right now. I wasn't able to reach him for comment.
So wildfires.
And we are now dealing with the aftermath. Muddy floodwaters rushed through the village with waves strong enough to tip over large vehicles on the roads. ABC 7's Jason McNabb assessed the flood damage.
Well, you might think this is a pond or even a small lake I'm standing next to, but no, this is actually flood water from yesterday and the day before. And luckily for the residents of Ruidoso, the New Mexico National Guard came prepared.
We didn't expect what happened the last 2 days, which was a pretty severe amount of rain.
New Mexico National Guard Lieutenant General Miguel Aguilar says the water that has rushed through Ruidoso for 2 days has been devastating, but they always knew it was a possibility. They're currently on scene clearing out debris and have already assisted in 135 rescues. He says they've been able to make it happen due to foresight.
Had we not, the Emergency Operations Center here not ordered swift rescue teams, which they did last week, had our guardsmen not had the high water vehicles that we have, we wouldn't have been able to respond. And so the 100+ people that were pulled out of high ground and brought back to a safer area last night, we wouldn't have been able to do it.
While some businesses and homes escaped the rushing floodwaters, others weren't so lucky.
Now I'm right here, right behind the Rio Ruidoso, where a lot of that flooding happened, and I want you to take a look at how high the water got here. Check that out. That's at least 3 feet high from the floor up. It looks like this building suffered, unfortunately, a ton of damage.
The contractor for the property tells me so much mud rushed into this building that it caused the floor to partially collapse, sending that thick black mud out of the side of this building's crawl space. While sights like this can be disheartening, Major Aguilar says the people of Ruidoso will persevere, as they've continued to do time and time again.
We're New Mexicans, and so New Mexicans are resilient by nature. It's absolutely amazing to see the people of Lincoln County and the surrounding areas, how they're pitched together. They're grabbing shovels, using their own equipment to help the community recover every time it happens.
Now there is a flash flood watch still in place here in Ruidoso, and village officials are reminding people to always be aware of the surroundings. And of course, if you encounter running water, turn around, don't drown. This flood water is powerful enough to sweep away a car, as we saw yesterday with that 18-wheeler. For now, reporting in Ruidoso with our New Mexico Mobile Newsroom, I'm Jason McNabb, ABC 7.
With extra depth on newly released reports from the city of El Paso's chief auditor regarding city taxpayer-funded gas cards. Now, the city's financial committee completed the additional audits after Representatives Cassandra Hernandez and former Rep. Claudia Rodriguez were found to have used their gas cards, quote, excessively in 2022. ABC 7's Jason McNabb brings us the findings.
The findings of the audits raise the same questions ABC 7 has been asking since we first started reporting on the first audit findings last year. How are elected officials spending your taxpayer dollars? Well, first, let's get to the gas card findings. They show similar spending habits from District 3 Representative Cassandra Hernandez, who is running for mayor, and former District 6 Representative Claudia Rodriguez. Now let's start with 2020. The findings show Hernandez's gas card was used to spend $1,700. The highest among all city reps that year. And a close second was Rodriguez with a bit less than $1,700. Then in third place was former District 2 Representative Alexandra Anello with almost $1,400. The rest of the city reps spent less than $400 combined. Then in 2021, Rodriguez spent the most out of everyone, $3,800. Hernandez spent around $3,000. And Anello was in third place with more than $1,700. The rest of the city reps spent less than $1,000, with some not even spending a dime. The numbers from those years are marginally less than the 2022 ones, which we reported last year, but here they are for reference. In 2022, Hernandez spent nearly $7,000. Rodriguez's gas card was used to spend just over $5,000, and no one else has spent more than $2,400. Now, we did the math, and Hernandez's and Rodriguez's gas purchases from 2020 and 2021 were 33% and 28% respectively of gas card usage between the mayor and all city councilors. The audit found Rodriguez made gas purchases in Fort Stockton, Texas and Carlsbad, New Mexico in 2021. The auditor's office says they couldn't find a reason why. According to City Auditor Edmundo Calderon, her 2021 usage appears, quote, excessive. Another finding of note popped up in the audits, and they regard travel reimbursements from former city manager Tommy Gonzalez. According to the audit, Gonzalez paid for a flight to Washington, D.C. in 2022 using personal points and was then reimbursed $1,457 by the city for that flight. Auditor Calderon says the personal points were accrued from city-related travel. Now, it should be noted Gonzalez was initially charged $317 before this audit, which he did pay back. The Office of Management and Budget says it intends to send an invoice of how much Gonzalez owes to the city. We reached out to Hernandez, Rodriguez, and Gonzalez, who is now the city manager of Midland, Texas. We didn't hear back from Rodriguez or Gonzalez at the time of this report, but Hernandez did send us a statement. Now, she said, quote, in 2020, my fuel expenses totaled $1,751, which is 58% lower than the city auditor's annual fuel allowance of $4,200. In 2021, I spent $3,087 on fuel, still 27% below the auditor's allowance. It is troubling that recent audits have targeted my fuel usage exclusively. The chairman of the Financial Oversight and Audit Committee, who has mayoral aspirations, is driving these audits. The auditor should ensure that these proceedings are devoid of political bias. Unfortunately, it seems that the selective examination to my expenses is politically motivated rather than based on fiscal prudence. Now, FOAC Chairman District 1 Representative Brian Kennedy responded to Hernandez's claims Monday evening, saying to ABC7, quote, "As chairman of the Financial Oversight and Audit Committee, I feel it would be inappropriate to issue any comments until after the committee meeting." And the Financial Oversight and Audit Committee will be discussing these findings in a meeting on Wednesday. You can count on ABC7 to be there. Jason McNabb, ABC7.